Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Pittsburgh Sports Memories Current Events. We really haven't done current events podcast in a little bit since we're kind of in the slower season of sports right now. So no football palooza, but we have plenty of other Pittsburgh sports to talk about. And we'll start with Pitt basketball since March Madness is coming up. And I think I know one team that won't be participating in March Madness. That would be the Pitt basketball team. They're just having a horrible season again. It doesn't look like they're even going to make the ACC tournament. Ever since they let in Cal and Stanford and SMU, now it used to be before you would just automatically make the ACC tournament. Now you actually have to have a respectable record, at least not be like bottom three. So if Pitt makes it, it doesn't look very promising. Even if they do, they're not going to the March Madness tournament. They just don't seem to be able to recruit. I guess their best player is injured. They lost the twins. They've lost so many people. What's it take to get Jeff Capel fired at this point? Like he's got to go at some point, right?
Yeah, I really thought that when Heather was exited that Jeff Capel wouldn't be safe anymore, but apparently he is. So I don't know.
Maybe they're waiting until the end of the season. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know, Steve. I just Pitt's just stuck in this continual. They're right back to where they were pre Ben Howland and Jamie Nixon.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, they're just not a strong basketball school, and they're just going to be that way apparently for the rest of the time. So I think we should have enjoyed that time more than we did, because apparently it's not coming back.
Then what was it, 10 to 20 years there of the golden age of Pitt basketball?
Not even that long.
10 to 15 maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It ended when Kemba Walker put the moves on Gary McGee up in Madison Square Garden. That kind of ended the golden age of Pitt basketball.
Yeah.
But I digress. Like I said, that kind of ended the Pitt. So we don't think Pitt will ever be a power in basketball. It could be wrong. I mean, it looked like this in 2000 before they hired some guy from northern Arizona named Ben Howland. So
yeah, I mean it's a different playing field today.
Yeah, with all the money, I don't know how they compete in any of these sports. Quite honestly, with the way the money is going,
yeah.
So Pitt might be in trouble. Duquesne, I threw in a Duquesne here for you Duquesne alums. They don't have much better Pitt chance than Pitt, but at least they have a 2% chance of making the NCAA tournament. They have 16 wins, which I think is way more than Pitt has. So for a team like Duquesne, probably to make the tournament, they probably got to win the tournament, the conference tournament, I would think. Because winning 20 games isn't probably going to get them in.
No, they'd have to win the A10 tournament like they did 2 years ago. Duquesne's having a nice little season at least. I think Drew Joyce has been a good coach for them. And I went to a Duquesne game actually recently, the Duquesne LaSalle game this year, and which ended on a Duquesne winning on a buzzer beater, so that was fun. I don't think Duquesne's going to be real good either. But they're having a pretty nice little season for Duquesne.
Yeah, if Pitt can't compete with like the money and how much money they're playing players now, how's Duquesne have a chance? Like that's kind of sad, that like these schools. But I guess in basketball you only really need one good guy, and that can kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, Duquesne made it to the second round of the tournament 2 years ago, so it's possible.
It's a tough job, like these little school jobs. Like I don't know. I mean, I know it was always kind of corrupt in college basketball, but this just seems like with the NIL money, like how do you compete with like Kentucky and Duke and even UConn or even some of the like other schools like the SEC, like football schools like Alabama or Auburn, like they got to have a ton of money now to throw basketball too. So,
but then you could also make the flip argument, right? If you look at football, Indiana, there's no way Indiana competes 5 years ago for anything, and now they're the national champion.
Yeah, with that money.
So yeah,
We'll see what happens.
But again, Duquesne, I'm as an alum, I'm very happy with.
Well, when you got to
the season
make
they're having.
that like $100 million donation, Tim?
Yeah, I'll get right on that as soon as we get the next sponsor for this podcast.
Yeah,
That's going to give us that.
Brought to you by Duquesne Athletics.
Right.
Join the Red Ring. Moving on to the Super Bowl. Hey, guess what, Tim? Seattle won a Super Bowl. Yay. Maybe they can stop crying about Super Bowl 40 finally. With former quarterback of the New York Jets, which in the ultimate New York Jets moment, Sam Darnold won. He kind of did what was smart about them. They kicked a bunch of field goals, and this was it was such a throwback Super Bowl. And I said this when the Steelers played Seattle. I like the way Seattle plays. It's a physical running game, a tough physical defense, and a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes but can make plays when you need them to. And boy, they really had it was them or the Rams. I think if the Rams would have won that game against Seattle, they probably win the Super Bowl too, because I don't think New England was winning the Super Bowl or even Denver.
No, I agree. It was New England had a very nice little season. They were a good team. Denver was a good team. Seattle was just a better team. They just had
or LA. I think the Rams would have beat either of those teams either.
Yeah, I think the Rams probably would have too. Yeah, I agree. But what a weird season. Like Seattle and New England in the Super Bowl. Who would have called that in the summer?
Yeah.
So we're in one of those weird stretches.
This is like a throwback to those early 90s, late 80s, like the Jeff Hostetler or Mark Rippon years. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yes. Or even the late 90s, early 2000s when you had the Ravens winning the Super Bowl with
Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer and the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. It was, what happened? So in that,
everybody aged out, all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and that's kind of it's happened again as we're kind of in between.
Yes, you know what? You're right, Steve, because like you said, like the 80s to 90s, it was kind of that transition between.
Although you still got Mahomes, but Mahomes got hurt, so
well, and they weren't having a good season anyway. But like you said, in the 90s, it was like Joe Montana got old,
Marino and
those guys, and then in the 2000s, you had not made the transition between the Elway, Troy Aikman, those years, and then transition to Brady.
Even Brett Favre, you could say to a point.
Yeah. But you had made that transition to Brady and Manning, and then really for 20 plus years you had Brady, and then went right into Mahomes.
Well, you had the Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, Manning.
Yep.
Yeah, Rivers. Yeah, you had a lot of really good quarterbacks, about 4 or 5 really good quarterbacks. And now it's kind of who's the bet? Mahomes, Allen. I don't know. Is Hurts? I could never figure out Hurts or Dak Prescott. What are they good? Are they bad?
You still have good quarterbacks. It's not like you don't have good quarterbacks. It's just you don't have
legendary. Yeah,
you don't have the Brady. Yeah. Or Montana or
and it's tough Mahomes. With the rules are so favored, you can't sneeze on a quarterback now. It's tough to that's why I can never judge Dak Prescott. And same thing with Hurts. It's well, they look like they're good, but they don't ever really get hit, and anytime they throw an incomplete pass, they call pass interference. Yeah, it's
the really interesting thing, Steve, will be was Mahomes having a bad year and the Chiefs was that a blip on the radar, or will they come back and kind of rebuild around him like the Patriots did with Brady? Because when Brady won those first 3 Super Bowls, remember you had a few years there
where they had Jabbar Gaffney at wide receiver and they lost to the Colts.
And so what's going to happen in Kansas City? Are they going to come back strong? Because Kelsey's about to retire. Andy Reid's I think pretty close to being retirement age. So they'd have to but the Patriots did that. They rebuilt with, guys like Julian Edelman and Gronk, and, they rebuilt that team around Brady very successfully. And it would be really interesting to see what Kansas City does.
I know a topic that's near and dear to your heart, Tim, is NFL officiating. So in week 4, this is the oddest thing. In week 14, the officials ruled that the self catch. Remember, like when Rodgers against the Ravens threw a pass and he caught it, but then the guy from the Ravens kind of had it too, and they called dual possession, and his knees were down, and that was the play. Well, on the field, if you remember, they had called that an interception, but replay had actually called down and overruled, saying no, it was a self catch. Well, this week, the NFL has now reversed itself, saying the original call on the field was the call it should have been. So, which leads me to, I bring this story up because Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk, and I have a link. I don't know if we'll link it anywhere, but him talking about wanting to make replay for every play because replay's infallible, Tim. Technology has never let us down. We've never had a computer crash. We've never gotten a flat tire. We've never had a dead battery in our car. We've never had a replay official buzz down and make a mistake on a play like this. We've never had anything like that. It's the perfect system. Humans are perfectible. Mike Florio has told me so, and he's not just a lawyer or a person doing a podcast trying to make waves in the off season.
Well, and they did replay that play. So what? I don't even understand what point he's trying to make.
Well, I think my point is he wants. He's like so sold on replay. Oh, they need to have replay to catch all these other plays the officials are making. Well, then replay isn't infallible. My point is replay isn't the be all end all that I see it is, Mike.
That makes sense.
It makes mistakes too.
Right.
And is adding more of it really doing anything besides slow the game down and make TV more involved, which is just stupid at some point, in my point. That's my only point is, the games are managed by humans, officiated by humans, and can't we just keep the games moving and only replay when we absolutely have to?
I agree. And it was weird that they admitted they made this mistake, and I think
so long after it.
But
and then the same thing with the Bills. Some people are saying this is to justify the Bills call, but that Bills call was really close. I will say that could have gone. You could have ruled that probably either way. And sometimes when you get like a 50-50 call like that, you just got to go with the call on the field. If it would have been called the other way, Denver fans will be crying, "Oh, he had an interception. Yeah. He came out. Look, he rolled. He came out." It's so.
Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes. As a fan, you just got to get over yourself. Sometimes Alex Smith steals the ball.
Well, that play in the Bills Broncos game. The other thing about that is everybody, when they're watching it, is watching it in slow motion. And when you watch the officials, it looks like the Bills guy has it for like a long period of time, but that's not how the actually happened.
No. Right.
Real life doesn't happen in slow motion. So
mine feels like it's in slow motion right now.
Yeah, I do a lot of things physically in slow motion. The NFL, make no mistake, Steve, the NFL loves this. They love this.
We're talking about them in the middle.
Yes,
at the end of February.
Yes, that's exactly right. They love it.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Speaking of stuff to talk about in March when there's nothing else happening, go ahead.
I really went deep dive on this because I don't know why. Because it's the middle of March and I have nothing better to talk about. Stupid Pitt basketball. Jeff Capel, get your act together. Goodness gracious, give me something to talk about besides toilets. So there was a survey by the NFLPA, and the Steelers did not fare well. They were 32 out of 32, mainly because they got an F on the field, which is they're never going to get an A with that field unless they replace it with artificial turf. It's just always going to be a problem. So I kind of discounted that. But the treatment of families and the locker room was the two surprising things to me. The players seem to be upset that they don't have daycare at Acrisure Stadium. And I find that when I want to take my toddler to a Steeler game / Pitt game, I really want to take advantage of the daycare services at the stadium rather than leave them with a family member safely at home. I'd rather expose them to 70,000 drunk Steeler fans. I mean, it's a learning experience, and the kids got to learn how to deal with that at some point in their life. The other issue was there are only 5 bathroom stalls for 53 players. I don't know if the coaches have a separate one, if they have to use but boy, could you imagine using a stall after Cam Hayward? That's gonna be a mess. Aaron Rodgers probably can't. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers couldn't handle it. It was like, oh my gosh, it's too. But I according to United Rentals, who do porta potties for construction workers, you only need 3 porta potties for 60 people, and construction workers work pretty hard. And according to Raycon Design, whoever they are, or Rayon Design, you only need for 25 to 50 people 3 to 6 toilets and 3 to 6 sinks. So the Steelers are right in that, according to these design people. Just to give some context and do some reporting that Mike Florio won't give you because he just likes to rip on the Steelers. I don't know. Do you care about any of this, Tim? Do you feel more educated that you know that for 50 people you should have 3 to 5 bathrooms?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I did.
Next time you're planning your events for 50 people or more,
right.
You'll know.
Right. No. So number one, this happens every year where they do this survey and it becomes this huge story. And it's such a, like you said, it's in the middle of nothing else happening. So it gets way overemphasized. Do they really need all these amenities? Maybe not. But I think what it does say about Art Rooney specifically is that, how much money, man, how much money does the league rake in? Like I get, like, if it were me going to my job, I'm not going to get free daycare or things of this nature, but it's all relative. And other NFL teams are providing these amenities. And again, the NFL, they have an unlimited stash of money that they could give anything to these players, and it just comes across as Art Rooney being just
cheap. Yeah.
Cheap. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. And it's not like cheap because he won't, sign the $30 million linebacker. Like this would be pennies out of Art Rooney's pockets to have somebody, to set up somebody there to do daycare or to add more toilets. That would cost him. He wouldn't even notice that in an accounting line budget. Like, it's nothing. So it just comes across as the Steelers doing things second rate, the Steelers doing things the way that, his grandfather did so many years ago, and not really getting with the times. It's not a good look. It's not good optics. And this happened. This isn't the first year this happened. He's had ample time to address it, and he's not doing it. So do I care about it? No. Do I think people aren't going to sign here because of it? No, I don't think any of that. But it's not a good look.
He definitely has a PR problem as of right now.
Yeah.
Moving to things that don't have a PR problem. Olympic hockey, Tim. Olympic hockey is always great. You want to chant it? USA, USA. Yeah. So the first time since 1980, since something called the Miracle on Ice, the USA hockey team have won the gold medal. They beat some little country called Canada. Do they play hockey up there? I don't know.
Not as well as us.
Suckers. Anyway, Hellerbuck, the goalie, what does he play for Winnipeg?
Yeah. Reigning league MVP.
Yeah, he was very, very good. Made an awesome stick save on Jonathan Tays on a goal shot that should have went in the goal. It was pretty tremendous. And then Jack Hughes in overtime on a 3-on-3. They have these 3-on-3 overtimes. I didn't realize they had those in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Actually scores the game winner goal on a nice assist. I will say this: Crosby got hurt when they were playing the Czech Republic, which is different than the Slovak Republic, which the USA had to. So yes, the Canadians had to be the Fighting Yarmur Jagers, and the USA team had to defeat the Fighting Martin. It was Marion Hoses. So that's how you cheek your Czechs and Slovaks sorted correctly. I mean, does Crosby being hurt put an asterisk on this win?
I wouldn't say it puts an asterisk, because every you'd have to put an asterisk on every single championship ever for who was hurt and who wasn't. But it is fair to say that it is fair to ask, would it have turned out different if Crosby was playing? Possibly. And Crosby's
It
not
did the last time in Vancouver. Well, not the
right.
last time, but that time in Vancouver.
And Crosby's not, the Canada has better like pure, talent at this point in his career than Crosby and McDavid and McKinnon and those guys. But Crosby just is like the glue of the team.
He's just such a winner. He
He's a
really
winner, yeah.
is.
He has all the intangibles, and
Like Mike Sullivan said that about him. He's just,
yeah,
he's just a winner. He does everything that you need to do to win. And boy, I'm glad the Penguins have him. I hope he gets healthy. That's the question is, the Penguins come back from the Olympic break and they win. Oh, I forgot to say the women, much like get myself in trouble like Trump. The women also won gold, and I actually did see that. I did not get to see the men's game live. I did get to see the women's game live, and a lot of people were watching the women's game. Like when I was coming home on the shuttle, there were a couple of guys watching on their phone, so people were really into the women's game too.
Yeah, that was a great game, and that was unexpected because the women.
I came home, and as soon as I turned it on, I saw it go in the net. I was like, "Oh, they won! Cool."
Yeah, Megan Keller scored the overtime, and then she made this just amazing move on the Canadian defenseman.
Yeah.
But that was something because I had watched a couple of the women's games before that, and they were just destroying everybody. I think they had won all their games by a combined score of like 31-1. Like they had given up one.
But
goal.
When you play Canada, once again, it was USA.
But they had beaten Canada 5-0 like the week before in the same Olympics, but it wasn't the gold medal game,
right?
And so it was kind of like the 2007 Patriots. You felt like that kind of a feel, like, oh, they just ran over everybody, and then they get into the biggest game, and all of a sudden somebody's giving them a game. So that was a great win too. I loved this Olympics so much, Steve. This was one of my favorite Olympics.
I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but my favorite events are always the bobsled, 2-man or 4-man, ski jumping. I always like ski jumping.
That was good.
I mean, the biathlon was fun. Did you see the women's cross country where the dog ran on the snow?
I didn't see it, but you sent me the clip. Yeah. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
The alpine stuff was good. The speed skating was good.
Yeah, speed skating's not bad. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the figure skating.
Oh God, Lord help you! It reminds me of that time that I was watching the '99 Steelers play the Panthers, and the guy I was watching with kept turning on the freaking figure skating. Oh, I don't want to watch this unless somebody's getting hit in the knee. That's the only thing I want to see.
I like watching it. My wife was a competitive figure skater growing up.
So was my sister. Yeah, people really like it. It seems like it's more of like geared towards like the female people, and they like it. Hey, to each their own.
And I like watching it with her because
she's so into it, huh?
Well, but she explained, like, to me, if you don't fall down, you did good, right?
No, you but it is like these people do like triple axel Lutz things, and then that spinning, even that like spin when they spin, that's really tough.
It's really tough. And my wife will be like, "Oh, she under rotated by half of a rotation,
and that's why she fell or didn't."
No, not jump. Fall.
Just not even just like she did. She only did like 1.5 turns instead of 2.
Right, and to me, like she landed fine. It looked fine, but no, that wasn't a very good skate. Yeah. Because of stuff like that. Me, like I said, if they stay on their feet, I'm like, oh, she's going to win the gold. It's like, no, she's in 14th place actually.
That would be you and I if we were on the ice, just staying on our feet.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you stay on your feet. But that was fun to watch. Alyssa Liu, that was really fun to watch. Like she has a great story. I'm sure everybody's heard that story now about her father having to flee China after the whole Tiananmen Square thing and coming to the United States, and he was one of those people going into the Olympics that was not supposed to be necessarily the gold medal winner. He had retired from the sport. He came back.
Wow.
Just a great story. He's a great personality. Just again, I loved it, Steve. I was legit sad when the Olympics ended, but what a way for it to end with Jack Hughes sacrificing his teeth for his country and scoring that goal. He came the first game after the Olympics was in Pittsburgh. The first Penguin game was against the Devils in Pittsburgh, and he got just the biggest ovation that you've ever heard for somebody that does not play for a Pittsburgh team, and well deserved too. And that picture, you talked about that save that Connor Hellebuck made. I said they should erect a statue of that, make a statue out of that, and erect it at whatever the busiest like U.S.-Canada border
Much.
crossing is?
I did some research, and it was a much more fun research than the toilet research. Was the busiest crossing, which I think you've crossed. I've been by, but I've never crossed it. Is the Ambassador Bridge?
Oh
in
yes,
Detroit, Michigan to Windsor,
Windsor.
Ontario.
Yep, I've been across that bridge multiple times.
Yeah, so that would be where your Connor Hellebuck statue would be.
Perfect.
Located.
I love it. Yes. I will take part of my big alumni donation to Duquesne, and I'll put it towards commissioning that statue.
There you go. So the Penguins are second in the Metro, still 8 points behind the Hurricanes, even though they did beat the Devils recently 4-1. And Jack Hughes, I don't know. I heard Jack Hughes going to do a commercial for Colgate? I thought I heard that somewhere. Sounds like a great marketing tool. So
that would be pretty good.
Yeah, or like the orthodontist of America, the dentist of America.
Yeah,
I know 10 dentists say Jack Hughes should get his front teeth replaced. The 10th dentist, we don't know. But that was a lot of fun. The Olympics are fun. Hopefully Crosby isn't injured too long, so the Penguins can have him back for their playoff run, please. And somebody please find Pitt basketball a coach. Please, is there another Ben Howland out there, Tim? Hopefully. Thank you for tuning in as usual. Give us a great rating on all the podcast service you check us out. We appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook. Tell us how Tim is wrong and how the statue should be of Jack Hughes and his missing teeth, not of Connor Hellebuck. But we'll definitely put that up at in Detroit, there for everybody to their viewing pleasure. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.